Welcome to Pomodoro Joe for Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. Today we're doing LeetCode problem 443, string compression. It's a medium problem. Given an array of characters, chars, compress it using the following algorithm. Begin with an empty string, s. For each group of consecutive repeating characters in chars, if the group's length is 1, append the character to s. Otherwise, append the character followed by the group's length. The compressed string s should not be returned separately, but instead should be stored in the input character array. Note that group lengths that are 10 or longer will be split into multiple characters in chars. After you're done modifying the input array, return the new length of the array. You must write an algorithm that uses only constant extra space. And let's just look at one example here. So the input array is an array of characters, and this one has A, B, B, C, C, C. Now the output array, well, there is no output array. You basically replace the characters in the input array with your output. So the new contents of your character array will be A, 2, B, 2, C, 3. And then you return, let's see, what would that value be? I guess the length would be 6. It's funny, it doesn't say, oh, it does, return 6. Okay. So we'll put 25 minutes on the Pomodoro timer and get started. So we'll start with some result, and that'll be equal to 0, and we'll return the result at the end. So for this problem, we can only use constant extra space, and we don't create a new array. We'll be replacing the characters in the existing input array. All right, so I think there are 3 pieces that we need for this. We'll need to know the current character that we're counting. We'll need to know the count of that character, and then we'll need to know where in the input array we'll be inserting this output data. So let's keep track of that. So we'll keep track of our position in the input array, and it's going to be 0. We'll keep track of our character, and that's going to be, well, we'll start it off at the character at index 0, and we have our count, which will be 1, because we have 1 character. And let's just take a look at our constraints here. So yes, we will always have at least 1 character. So, all right. So here's the plan. We will go through every character in the input array, keeping track of the character and the count of that character. Anytime we run across a new character, then we'll update our input array with our current character and the count, and then we'll update our current character and set the current character's count to 1. Might be easier if I just do it, so let's try that. So in this case, since we've already got our character at index 0, we'll start at index 1. So for every index in the range from 1 to the length of our input array, we'll check to see if the character at that index is the character we're currently looking for. So if this character is the one that we're already counting, then we just increment the count. Otherwise, we've come across a new character. So at this point, we need to store our character and the count in the input array, and then reset our current character and count. So we are keeping track of the current position in our character array using the pause, this guy here. So we can just say chars at pause. So the characters at our current output position will be equal to our current character. And then we need to increment our output position. Then, as it says here, if the group's length is 1, we just append the character. Otherwise, we need to append the group length. So in this case, we'll check to see if our count is greater than 1. And for now, I'm just going to pass, but we'll come back to this. We need to actually put our count into the array here. And now, once we've put our character and its count into our array, we'll set the new character is equal to chars at I, and our count will be reset to 1. Okay, so now how do we do this count part? I think I'm going to take the easy way out. We'll just create a count string, and we'll use Python's string function for that. And then for every character in the count string, we'll just put it into our array. Okay, now we'll convert our count to a string. Then for every character in that count string, we'll put it into our array, and we'll increment our position in our array. Now, one more thing we'll need to do. So we've gone through every single one of our characters in our array. At the very end, we will basically have a character and a count that we haven't yet put into our array. So we'll have to do this whole thing outside of our for loop. Okay, so I think this should cover it. Now the last piece that we need is this result. Now this result is really just our position. So in fact, we can just return our position here, and we don't need this result at all. So this position is just keeping track of where in the array we're inserting this output data, and that's just going to be keeping track of the length of our output. So at this point, we can just return that position. Let's try that. Seems to work. Let's see if we can pass all the tests. All right, we do pass, and I can't believe my eyes. We pass, and we beat 99.3% for runtime and 65.1% for memory. I actually am dumbfounded. I don't know what to say. All right, so we're beating 99% for runtime and 65% for memory. I am quite shocked by this. All right, well then, I guess that's it. Okay. All right, so that is your solution for today's problem. And again, today's problem is LeetCode 443, string compression. Check this one out. It's pretty fun, actually. Try this one on your own, see if it makes sense to you, see if you can figure out a better way to do it. There's lots of different ways to do this one, so give it a shot. All right, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned something. Hope you can go out and write better code.